man from Poland is exploring a remote stretch of forest when he stumbles upon a house that's been left to decay. Something about the place immediately feels off. Strangely, it appears the previous occupants had abandoned nearly all of their belongings behind. Everything points to a sudden, rushed departure. Unsure whether someone might still be living there, the man moves carefully through the rooms, staying on high alert. Then, without warning, the situation takes a deeply unsettling turn. See for yourself what unfolded next. The house seemingly springs to life out of nowhere. Objects shift on their own, and a music box starts playing without anyone touching it. While the identities of the owners remain unknown, photographs of them are scattered throughout the rooms, and whoever these people were, it's pretty clear why they got out when they did. The exact location of this property has never been confirmed, but honestly, after watching what happens in this footage, you don't really need a street address to understand why nobody lives there anymore. Haunted or not, this place has an atmosphere that would make anyone's skin crawl on its own. But as always, I'd love to hear what you think about this one. This clip was uploaded with almost no explanation, but it follows a man as he makes his way through a derelict building on his own, camera in hand. At first, everything about it feels like a standard urban explorer. Dim rooms, rusting equipment, and the hollow echo of his footsteps bouncing off the walls. Then, he stumbles across a fan and things take a turn.
我操，好邪的！我操你！哎！
Without any visible power source connected to it, the fan kicks on by itself. Rattled but curious, he decides to run a little test. He pushes the button on an old TV receiver sitting nearby, almost as if he's trying to figure out whether the building still has electricity running through it somehow. The unit doesn't respond, but what it does instead is...
好死我真的我都在疯！哎！我。啊！谁？谁？啊！
Als sie zu ihrem Fenster hochschauen, sehen die beiden dort oben eine dunkle, vermummte Silhouette, die direkt auf sie runterstarrt. Und auf dem Boden liegt eine Decke und darauf ist ein ordentliches kleines Häufchen Reißzwecken aufgestapelt. Kein Hinweis, kein Zeichen eines Kampfes. Einfach noch ein weiteres, befremdliches Puzzleteil in einer Geschichte, die sowieso schon zum Gruseln ist. Viele Zuschauer vermuten natürlich, dass das alles inszeniert ist, eine aufwendige Fake-Story fürs Internet. Aber irgendwie wirkt Livs Reaktion nie gestellt und die Videos haben diese rohe, chaotische Qualität, die man einfach nicht so leicht hinbekommt. Genau das macht sie so glaubwürdig. Ob das jetzt echt April 16th, 2016, a mother uploaded footage from the security camera mounted outside her house, walking viewers through the events of that evening. She explained that her son was startled by a series of loud sounds and went outside to investigate. The moment he stepped out, he spotted a motorcyclist tearing away from in front of their property. That very same night, a robbery had occurred somewhere in the neighborhood, and those riders were the ones behind it. But when the second motorcyclist fled the scene, something absolutely chilling was recorded. A deeply unsettling figure abruptly materialized and can be seen pursuing the biker before disappearing into the night. You can clearly see the woman's son react with visible terror and bolt back inside. According to the description posted with the video, the woman stated that nothing remotely like this had ever occurred in their community before. Nobody could account for where that figure came from or where it went. It appeared to be human in form, yet its origin and its destination remain completely unexplained. Nobody has any answers. So what do you think it was? In the following clip, two security guards are sitting down to review outdoor surveillance footage from a camera mounted on the exterior of their building somewhere in Argentina. Something unusual had taken place the day before, and the guards were convinced the CCTV system would have picked it up. They carefully scrub through the recording until something catches their eye, something unsettling. Pay close attention to what unfolds.
Este se ve mejor. Hija de puta. Ajá. Se fue. Para que si veamos cuando. Si, para que vean de que no. Si alguien puede ver que se va, no se va. Ahí le entramos. Ahí se ve como una calavera. Aparece, ajá.
The guards were left both shaken and completely stumped by what they had just seen. A woman appears to simply be standing motionless in the middle of the road, and after setting something alight, she seemingly dissolves into the rising smoke, as though she became one with it entirely. Both the guards and a number of viewers who later watched the footage noted that the smoke appears to shift and take on the shape of a skull.
Desapareció, desapareció, desapareció.
Ahí se aparece como una calavera.
Having gone through the unedited surveillance recording and witnessed this for themselves, the guards are now fully convinced they were dealing with something beyond rational explanation that day, believing the figure in the footage to be either some kind of demonic entity or a person engaged in some form of dark witchcraft. Because even if the skull shape in the smoke could be written off as a bizarre coincidence, there's still no accounting for how this person simply ceases to exist on camera without ever walking out of frame. So what do you think is going on here? Drop your thoughts below. A man by the name of Germain was wandering through an old cemetery by himself late at night somewhere in Argentina when he came across an abandoned Ouija board just sitting on top of one of the gravestones, and naturally he made the worst possible decision. He took it home with him, and what makes it even more unsettling is that this particular Ouija board appears to have some kind of pentagram spray painted across the back, along with what he suspects are 5 drops of blood right in the center. Despite all of this, he insists he doesn't believe in the paranormal whatsoever.
Escuchen, escuchen. Esos son los sonidos que le hablé. Justo de madrugada, escuchen. Nadie me va a decir que esos son gatos. Escuchen. Son pasos. Son pasos. Ok. Ok. ¿Quién anda ahí? La luz. Ok. Esta es la puerta abierta. ¡Hey! ¿Quién está ahí? Ok. Voy a buscar la picana. ¿Qué? ¿Quién anda ahí? ¡Qué mierda! ¿Quién anda ahí?
He picks up on a knocking sound coming from somewhere above him. Then the door swings open on its own, and when he makes his way through the house, he's startled by a sudden noise and discovers a pile of objects scattered across the floor, including the Ouija board, which had been perfectly arranged just moments before. The following night, something far more disturbing jolts him awake.
¡Hey! ¿Qué pasa? ¡Hey! ¿Hay alguien ahí? Otra vez la mujer de negro. Mierda. Otra vez. Otra vez lo mismo.
He checks the closet and finds nothing, but then catches a dark figure passing by the window, and when he rushes over to investigate, there's nobody to be found. Ever since that board was brought into his home, the activity has been escalating with every passing night, and he's now convinced that something is attempting to force its way inside.
Miren, 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 miren. ¿Qué quiere? ¿Qué quiere? Está la sal. No puede pasar porque está la sal. No puede pasar porque está la sal. ¡Hey! Quiere entrar. Está la sal. ¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué quiere? Mierda es eso. Mierda es eso. Miren la sal. Mierda es eso. Mierda es eso. Cortó la luz. ¿Qué es eso? Mierda es eso. Luz. Mierda es esa.
A shadowy shape appears just beyond the window, but once again, when he goes to look, the area is completely empty, apart from a small flame burning on the ground, which is unsettling enough on its own. He's now come to believe the Ouija board was cursed before he ever touched it, and that whatever followed it home has no intention of leaving. Picking that board up from the cemetery may very well turn out to be the gravest error of his life. The YouTube channel you can see here has uploaded multiple videos documenting bizarre incidents throughout the owner's home. Late one evening, close to midnight, he was lying down to rest when a thunderous crash snapped him wide awake. His initial assumption was that his dog had bumped into something, but the moment he pulled out his camera, it became clear something far more unsettling was going on.
Okay, it's like midnight right now. I was sleeping on my couch and I heard a loud bang. I've heard it before, but I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was the dogs on the deck or something. But I think if I sit and wait, you'll see. I just seen it. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what it is. There it is. It's my cupboards. Let's see. Holy shit, I'm just shaking. I'm just gonna sit here and videotape for a minute. See what happens. See what happens. This is scary. Oh, holy shit. Holy shit. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh! Holy shit. What the f***? Okay. I'm cool. I'm cool. Let me get up and Ooh, I'm just shaking. Look at my goosebumps. Okay. It's my grandma's old house too. It's old. I remember that light being on. Let's see what this looks like. I don't want to go too close to. That's just creepy. I have no idea. Like, there's nobody in my house right now. Like, nobody. I can hear something in that room. Okay. That's weird. What is that? Somebody's in that room. Ah! Whoa! Okay. Look at those goosebumps. I'm gonna go look. What's the worst that's gonna happen? Ooh, it's scary. There's like nobody in here. I'm freaking out, man. This is scary shit. This is really scary shit. I knew I could hear stuff before, but I don't know. It's so weird. Like I could hear it. Oh. I'm going outside.
A kitchen cabinet began swinging open on its own with no one near it. Then, eerie sounds started drifting in from the adjacent room. Steeling himself, he pushed through a hanging bead curtain, certain that somebody had to be on the other side. The room was completely bare. Shortly after these clips made their way online, the account went completely silent. Whether he eventually found some kind of peace in that house or simply packed up and left, nobody knows. So, what's your take? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hey, what's going on everyone? Since it's spring, let's dive into another one of these unsettling videos, this time involving security footage from a daycare located somewhere in New York. Now, here's where things get genuinely strange. Multiple kids at this facility claim to have seen an unfamiliar man hanging around inside the playground. Apparently, he'd just be standing near the tallest structure, completely unbothered, and the staff had absolutely no clue who the children were describing. On top of that, there were several separate incidents where one of the kids wandered down to the basement, only to find toys that had been knocked over and rearranged. And not just scattered randomly, but laid out in a circle. And whatever was doing, it didn't seem to stay on the ground either. Objects were reportedly lifting up off the floor and moving through the air entirely on their own. So when the security camera happened to be running one night, it ended up recording a deeply unsettling chain of events. Inside what looks like a standard playroom, a rocking toy begins swaying back and forth on its own, and then that motion abruptly stops, right as something seems to shift across the floor toward the other side of the room. Almost like whatever energy was behind it had simply relocated, a basket sitting on a nearby table was then shoved clean off the edge. The staff were completely shaken after reviewing this footage and started questioning whether all of this was connected to the mysterious man the children kept insisting they'd seen. This story comes from a man named Bobby, who shares his home with his daughter, a home that has apparently become a hotbed of paranormal activity. Certain that something supernatural is at work, he's been recording the incidents as they unfold, but one moment in particular rises above the rest as the most chilling thing he's caught on film. While Bobby is sitting in his living room, he starts hearing strange sounds drifting from his bedroom. He pulls out his phone and hits record. What you're about to see will send a chill straight through you.
I don't know what the hell it is. It's like knocking, creaking footsteps. It's either in my room or Sky's room, but Sky's passed out right now. But it's crazy, yo. Hold on. See, she's sleeping. See, I'm telling you, I keep hearing weird shit. I think it's coming from my room now. What is that? See, I keep this up against the cabinet because the dolls like to try to open the doors and it's weird. I don't know what that sound is though. Oh, what the fuck was that, man? Yo, fuck this. I'm good on that. Yeah. I'm staying out of there, fuck. Yo.
The sound of footsteps creeps up behind Bobby, as though an unseen presence had just walked in. Rattled, he quickly closes the cabinet and gets out of there. In the months that follow, Bobby keeps uploading footage of the bizarre things happening inside his home. But his latest recording has shaken him more than anything before. Completely alone, he manages to capture something that's hard to explain away.
I'm glad she's sleeping, it'd probably freak her out. Hello? Nah, get out of here, man. Hello?
The door to that very same room, the one where the phantom footsteps were heard, slowly swings open with no one near it. As unnerving as that was, it still didn't top what came next. Once again, with nobody else in the house, Bobby witnesses something deeply strange coming from his daughter's bedroom.
And this ain't the first time this happened either. It happened when my girl was here as well, but it always gets crazy when I'm here by myself. Or when my daughter's sleeping. What? See? I told you. I want her piano again. Hello? See, there's her piano. Don't mind her room. She has so many damn toys. You gotta clean up like every day in here. Hello? Well, y'all caught the piano. I don't know if y'all catch anything else. It usually happens once, and every time I try to record something, it just, nothing happens, so. But at least y'all caught that part. Yo. Nope, I'm good. Nope, I'm good. Shut that. I'm telling you, every time I'm here by myself, man. feel like if her piano's still going off in there, man. Every time. But yeah.
Inside the room, his daughter's toys begin activating on their own, their sounds filling the silence and adding yet another layer to this already disturbing pattern. Not a great deal more is known about Bobby's circumstances, but he continues posting these unsettling moments to his channel in the hope that someone out there can shed some light on what's going on. So, where do you stand? Is this genuine proof of a poltergeist or an extremely convincing setup? That's for you to decide. A man named David recently came forward with a series of deeply unsettling experiences that completely destroyed his sense of security within his own home. Initially, he thought everything traced back to a single object, a doll he had owned for years without any trouble. But gradually, things started to shift. Strange noises began echoing through the house after dark, and a deeply uncomfortable presence seemed to trail him from one room to the next. What made it all worse was the voice. According to David, it didn't come across as angry or threatening, but emotional and desperate. The voice kept whispering the name Daniel over and over, as though it were calling out to someone long gone. Some viewers think the voice could be replaying a traumatic memory, stuck in an eternal loop. Others believe it may have been seeking some kind of forgiveness. Then, one night, while trying to take his mind off things by watching TV, David heard the voice say his name out loud. See for yourself.
Está inquieta. Suki. Saben que me duermo así por el calor que me da. ¿Escucharon? Sí. Y se me... Me tiene como miedo. Ay, no. Otra vez. Otra vez la pinche ventana. Siempre muestro para que vean que no hay nadie. Nadie ni nada. Y está bien inquieta Suki desde hace rato. ¿Qué pasó, mamá? Pasan de las 2 de la mañana apenas. Yo no sé qué pedo. ¿Vieron cómo se abrió la puerta, no? Tiene que abrir así. Suki. Ven, mi amor.
At that same moment, his cat locked up completely, staring intently at something that wasn't visible, responding to a presence only it could sense. When David looked toward the window, a figure stood outside. Unnatural, perfectly still. Watch what unfolds next. Shortly after, there was a knock at his door. David would later say this wasn't the first time he'd seen a face peering in at him. Among the most frequently appearing figures seemed to be an older man, slowly drifting near the window. Take a close look at this.
Estoy en las 56 de la mañana. Me desperté porque sentí una mirada en mis sueños. Y me han dicho que no me intente comunicar con ellos. Quiero preguntarle quién es. Yo me duermo con la tele encendida. Alexa, luz del cuarto blanco frío. Se escucha así por el ventilador.
Sie versuchten es zu ignorieren. Vielleicht ist er halt ein komischer Typ, redete Chico sich ein, aber sein Bauchgefühl wollte das nicht so recht glauben. Als am Wochenende mehr Leute ankamen, beschlossen die beiden, sich einen ruhigeren Platz zu suchen und liefen dabei genau diesem Mann wieder über den Weg. Diesmal ohne Shirt, nur in einer Bikinihose, den Blick fest auf sie gerichtet. Something absolutely chilling was recorded.
Es aquí. Pasó de ser cuarto de invitados a ser el cuarto de la muñeca, ¿no? Entonces, para los que me estaban diciendo que la grabara y todo eso, aquí está. ¿Sangró más? O no sé qué carajo sea eso. Yo ya no pienso que sangre, sino miren, hasta se le escurría por los ojos y todo. Los que sepan de esto pues ya sabrán lo de cómo regresó y todo. No le hagan caso a eso. Eso lo tengo porque acuérdense que trabajo para YouTube y tal. No le hagan caso. Hace ratito grabé algo y así está. Y me dicen que lo pusieron en el Salmo 92. Ahí está. Lo leí, todo eso. Pero cada vez que se entra a este cuarto pues sí se da como mala vibra y todo. Sí se siente un ambiente pesadón. Curioso, las hojas empiezan como a doblar. Ya vieron, deberían de estar así parejitas como ahí, pero solo de ese lado como que se doblan. Entonces, pues pasó esto, de ser un cuarto de invitados, está ahí una tele y todo, a ser el cuarto de la muñeca. Y a veces trabajo aquí, lo cual es más jodido porque siento como que la presión de eso, pero en fin. Para los que querían verlo, ahí está. Chido One, vámonos que aquí es pan. Ven, por eso cuando me dicen en los directos que haga tal cosa y demás, y yo siempre muestro así todo para que, porque luego no faltan los sonsos que dicen, ay, es que hay alguien escondido. ¿Y dónde hay alguien escondido? ¿Dónde? Estos son cables que tengo aquí de mouse y de cosas que no uso. ¿Dónde? Que hay cajas que tienen porquerías que no usamos. Mira cómo está la Biblia. ¿Vieron cómo se movió? Estaba acá. Y para los que me dicen que la...
Also zogen sie erneut weiter. Am nächsten Morgen, als sie draußen ihren Kaffee tranken, zerriss plötzlich eine wütende Stimme die Stille. Derselbe Mann, schreiend, fluchend, ohne jeden Anlass, auf eine Weise, die einem Motorcycle rider's helmet cam picked up something deeply unsettling along a pitch-black road late one night in the Philippines. Keep your eyes fixed on the stretch of road up ahead. Without any warning, a small figure shot across the road right in the rider's path, triggering an immediate reaction as though impact was unavoidable. but at the precise instant the bike drew close, the figure simply disappeared from view in a way that's nearly impossible to account for. Once the clip was slowed down and reviewed frame by frame, many who watched it noticed something that made them even more uneasy. The figure didn't seem to have any distinguishable facial features whatsoever. There are those who think the camera may have unknowingly recorded some kind of unknown entity. On the other side of the debate, skeptics pushed back, suggesting the whole thing could be chalked up to misleading lighting conditions, a technical glitch with the camera, or a deliberately orchestrated hoax. Spending the night alone at home already puts most people on edge, but imagine dealing with what feels like a restless spirit trying to force its way in. This woman was simply hanging out with her cat when an unsettling sound stopped her dead in her tracks, and what unfolded afterwards shook her to her absolute core. See for yourself what her camera caught. A thunderous bang erupts just outside her apartment door and she goes completely still. After a few tense moments, she makes the decision to investigate, though that choice may not have been her wisest. The second she opens the door, something in the air changes. Oppressive, thick, and deeply wrong. Before long, she can hear footsteps circling around her. Then, things escalate. Indentations begin forming on the mattress, as though invisible hands are pressing down hard into it, only to disappear without a trace. Even her cat wants no part of it, bolting straight under the bed. If this clip teaches us anything at all, it's this. When something is pounding on your door in the dead of night, the smartest move is to leave it closed. Reese Raylet had taken his family away for a holiday at a remote cabin nestled deep in the woods. It was supposed to be the perfect getaway to rest and recharge, but their trip would turn out to be anything but relaxing. One evening, a few of Reese's kids were hanging out in the kitchen when one of them noticed a drawer apparently sliding open by itself. Their first instinct was that one of their brothers or sisters was messing with them, but then the drawer kept going, opening and shutting on its own, as though some unseen force had taken control of it. Completely spooked, the kid rushed upstairs to get Reese and the rest of the family. When Reese asks what's going on, the kid tells him there's something ghostly in the kitchen. Wanting to document what unfolds as the whole family heads down to check it out, the kid pulls out their phone and starts filming. At first, Reese moves forward completely unconvinced that anything out of the ordinary is going on, and then this happens. Genau in dem Moment, als Chase das Haus verlassen will, knallt die Tür wie von Geisterhand zu und fängt He lifts his hand off the drawer, saying he can feel it trembling and vibrating under his palm, and then it glides open once more. Reese and his family are absolutely beside themselves, and then it starts cycling open and shut all over again. The whole family bolted upstairs and refused to set foot back in the kitchen until morning. They packed up and headed home later that same day. When people are asked to name the most unsettling places on Earth, hospitals tend to come up almost immediately. The air inside them feels sterile and cold. The majority of visitors are suffering from illness, and for some, those corridors are the last place they ever walk. The clip we're about to watch was originally shared on TikTok, and it follows a woman as she moves through the hallways of a hospital, venturing into a restricted wing that the public isn't allowed to enter. And there's a very specific reason for that. That section of the building has a reputation for being haunted. She believes she was completely alone back there, but it doesn't take long before she senses that something is moving with her.
I heard something up there. I heard a voice. I'm not kidding you. I heard a voice. I heard a voice. I heard a fucking voice. Look at that chair. I heard something up there.
Early in the footage, a disembodied voice comes echoing through the hallway. Then, just seconds afterward, a shadowy figure becomes visible at the far end of the corridor. So who or what is it? A restless entity refusing to move on? Some wandering soul trapped inside the building, searching endlessly for a way out? There's virtually no additional context surrounding this footage, and the person who posted it has gone completely silent since. So I'm putting it in your hands. Drop your theories in the comments and let me know what you think is really going on here. A hotel receptionist working the night shift at an aged Arizona hotel was pulled aside by a colleague who wanted to show him something that had been occurring repeatedly in one of the guest rooms.
What the? Nah.
Yeah, cause let me hit it now.
Yeah.
There's clearly something shifting around beneath the bed sheets on its own, yet the moment the man slapped the mattress with his hand, whatever it was instantly stopped. He says this same thing plays out every single time he goes to make the bed while getting the room ready for guests. Even now, he still can't figure out what was causing it. So tell me, what do you think was underneath those sheets? A young woman who goes by Mildred uploaded what looked like a lighthearted clip showing the way her dog rouses her each morning by leaping onto her bed. On the surface, the recording seemed like nothing more than a glimpse into her everyday life, but not long after it went live, the video exploded online when multiple viewers spotted something deeply unsettling lurking within the footage. See for yourself what they found. As Mildred pans her camera around her bedroom, a disturbing-looking figure appears for several seconds, seemingly staring straight at her. What makes the whole thing even creepier is that neither Mildred nor her dog appears to register the presence at all. The mysterious shape wasn't even noticed until later, when curious viewers started going through the footage one frame at a time. For a lot of people, there's a perfectly logical explanation: shadows, unusual lighting, or pareidolia, the well-known psychological phenomenon where the human mind detects faces in patterns where none actually exist. But others are convinced there's something far more chilling going on, suggesting the camera may have caught an unknown presence observing the young woman without her ever realizing it. So, where do you stand? Which explanation do you find more believable in this case? In Davao, Philippines, a young woman is waiting to meet up with a friend and spots him making his way across a footbridge toward her. She pulls out her camera and starts recording him as he crosses, but the footage ends up capturing something far more unsettling than just her friend walking over. When the two of them sit down to go through the recording afterward, they notice a strange, dark figure trailing roughly 6 feet behind him, completely unexplained. The video spread online and viewers came up with all kinds of theories about what that shadowy shape could be. Some believed it was a headless dark spirit, others were convinced it was the Grim Reaper himself. Skeptics, on the other hand, argued it was nothing more than an ordinary shadow, though nobody could satisfactorily explain why a shadow would be standing upright and trailing that far behind him. So I want to hear from you. What do you think is going on here? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. TikTok creator who goes by Turntable says they spent their entire childhood in a haunted house. And here's the kicker, they never left. According to this person, the strange experiences started early, with a persistent sense that something sinister was lurking just beyond what the eye could see. As the years went on, they say the activity grew too intense to brush off. Items were reportedly hurled across rooms, artwork was torn clean off the walls, and shadowy figures were spotted drifting through the home when nobody else was around. After enduring years of frightening encounters, they finally decided to set up a camera, and what it recorded is genuinely difficult to write off. In the footage, a wooden tabletop appears to rise off the ground entirely on its own, as though something invisible is steadily pushing it up from underneath. The house was completely empty at the time, which makes the whole thing pretty hard to rationalize. A second recording, captured while the entire household was sound asleep, shows a chair drifting away from a table before snapping violently back into position. Interestingly, the creator says years of exposure have made them somewhat numb to these kinds of incidents, and they don't feel the entity lurking in their home has any malicious intent. But whether it's friendly or not, if chairs started launching themselves across the room at 3 in the morning, I wouldn't be hanging around long enough to find out. One involves a woman who decided to go on a solo hike along a forested trail deep in a fairly isolated stretch of wilderness. It was meant to be a relaxing, quiet outing, but it turned into anything but. Something lurking among those trees made sure of that.
Hola? Ay, no mames. Güey, ¿qué pedo? No mames, no mames. A la verga. ¿Qué se oye?
She figures maybe somebody got turned around out there, so she calls out asking who's around, and instead of a name or anything that makes sense, the voice responds with 2 words. Come here. That was all she needed. She bolted because it wasn't just the words themselves, it was the way they were delivered, off in a manner she couldn't quite put into words. A few days later, she returned to the same spot with a group of friends to look around for any sign of what had been there. Whatever it was had disappeared, or at the very least. This account comes from a man who says he had a deeply unsettling encounter while lying in his room in the middle of the night. He had drifted off to sleep as he normally would, only to be jolted awake by an odd sound coming from somewhere in the corner of the room. In the surrounding quiet, the noise was distinct enough to put him immediately on edge. As he scanned the room trying to locate where it was coming from, his eyes landed on something that had absolutely no business being there.
Yo, Tang lunga tang. Lunga. Naranasan magharapin ng kini. Tang lunga. Asa na kini? Ki umahku tumahmu. Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullah. La ilaha illallah. Astagfirullahaladzim. Astagfirullah. Menghilang belum? Astagfirullahaladzim.
tucked in a shadowy area of the room stood a pale, motionless figure, its form resembling a body draped in white fabric. It was clearly visible, yet gave off no sign of awareness whatsoever. Visibly shaken, the man spoke up with a shaking voice and tried to get it to go away, but nothing happened. The figure just stayed right where it was, completely unbothered. Then, after what must have felt like an eternity, it simply disappeared without leaving a single trace behind, raising serious questions about what truly took place in that room. Video uploaded to YouTube back in January 2013 by a user going by the name Brun9711 captures a kid messing around with a tech deck fingerboard. And honestly, the nostalgia hits hard. Everything looks completely ordinary at first, just a kid having a good time, but then, out of nowhere, something unsettling and genuinely creepy takes place.
Bruno!
Without any warning, a chair in the kitchen drags backward as though an unseen hand is pulling it. The sound is jarring enough to spook everyone in the room, including the family cat, which immediately takes off in a panic. The kid freezes, wide-eyed, staring in disbelief at what just unfolded. And then, toward the very end of the footage, something else happens that'll make your skin crawl. That door swings shut on its own, with nobody anywhere near it. The way these two events play out back to back, first the chair, then the door, makes it hard to dismiss this as a random coincidence. There's a clear sense of escalation here, almost as if whatever is present is deliberately announcing itself. Now, rational explanations do exist and are worth entertaining. Some people watching might suggest a fishing line or thin string could have been used to drag the chair. And while that theory can't be completely thrown out, there's nothing visible in the footage that would point to where or how it was being operated. The whole thing reads as completely natural. Another detail worth paying attention to is how the cat reacts. Animals are widely thought to be far more attuned to subtle environmental shifts and strange energies than humans are, and the way this one bolts the instant that chair moves only deepens the mystery. In the end, this clip lands firmly in that uncomfortable middle ground. Possibly explained, possibly not. But you can bet that kid probably wanted nothing to do with a tech deck for quite a while after that. The following videos all come from the same ongoing investigation, the same home, the same recurring activity, and a family that has clearly moved past the point of dismissing what's happening around them. In the first clip, filmed during the daytime in a well-lit living room, a man begins asking whatever might be present to communicate. Watch.
Can you make a noise? Okay, I'll be back.
Almost immediately after he asks, "Can you make a noise?" a smoke detector lets out a single sharp chirp. Not a prolonged low battery warning, but one clean, perfectly timed response. A second chirp follows moments later as he moves toward the staircase, and underneath it, faint muffled thumping sounds come from upstairs, the kind that land differently when the house is supposed to be quiet. He says, "Okay, I'll be back," before walking away, which is either the most casual thing you can say after a smoke detector answers your question, or the most telling. Some viewers think the timing is too precise to be coincidence, pointing to what researchers sometimes call intelligent haunting behavior, where a presence doesn't just linger but actively responds. Skeptics will tell you smoke detectors chirp randomly when batteries are low, and they're not wrong, but the timing here is hard to wave off. When the homeowner set up infrared cameras in the common areas of the house while everyone was out, the audio collected was unsettling in a different way. Take a look. A loud, sharp bang erupts close to the camera's microphone, immediately followed by a quiet, breathy shh sound with no visible source, as if something heard the camera running and wanted it to stop. In a separate room upstairs, a second unexplained bang is captured, and not long after, a clear two-note whistling pattern repeats from inside what appears to be an empty hallway. Then a hanger on the coat rack swings sharply to the left and falls, accompanied by a distinct click, with no one present and no air current to account for it. The shh is what most people keep coming back to because it implies awareness. It's not a random creak or a settling wall, it's a sound that would only make sense if something knew it was being recorded. Outside at night, the outdoor security cameras picked up something harder to categorize. Watch closely. A small self-illuminated orb appears briefly near the sheer curtain hanging on the patio before vanishing, and then the camera begins tracking something fast and invisible, panning erratically before a sudden bright circular flash illuminates the patio for a split second with no apparent source. The homeowner notes that it wasn't wind, the curtain doesn't move, nothing moves, and it wasn't a train. So what was that? The following clip was recorded by a man inside what he says is his new house, although according to him, the strange activity didn't begin with this property. In the description accompanying the video, he explains that it was around 3 in the morning when he kept hearing knocking sounds coming from somewhere inside the house. At first, he tried to brush it off, figuring it could be the normal noises of an unfamiliar home settling in the middle of the night. But then something suddenly fell. That was enough for him to grab his phone and start recording. Watch. What makes the story particularly unsettling is what he says next. According to him, people are always telling him to move whenever he shares these experiences, but he insists the same kind of activity follows him no matter where he lives. And that's where the conversation takes a much darker turn. If the disturbances have happened across multiple homes, some viewers believe the issue may not be attached to a location at all. Instead, they point toward the possibility of an attachment, a phenomenon often described in paranormal circles as a presence that follows a person rather than remaining tied to a building. Also, in some traditions, repeated knocking was even considered a sign that something unseen was attempting to draw attention to itself. Whether that's what's happening here is impossible to know, but if his claim is true, then the most unsettling part of the story isn't the knocking. It's the fact that this is his new house, and whatever he's dealing with may have arrived before he did. Before we head back in, one quick thing. All of our videos are now on Spotify too, so if that's where you tend to be late at night, every compilation we've made is sitting there waiting for you. Watch it however you'd rather watch it. The link's down in the description. Now, back to the video. This next clip comes from a father who says the strange activity in his home has become impossible to ignore, not just for him, but for his children as well. According to him, they had all been hearing unexplained knocking sounds and footsteps coming from the kitchen, often late at night when nobody else was awake. At first, he tried to rationalize it, telling himself it was simply an old house making noise. But after hearing it happen over and over again, he decided to do something most people probably wouldn't. He tried talking to it. Watch.
Hello? Can you make a noise? Can you make a loud noise? Is this your old house? Have you been following us? I can hear you. Are you in the kitchen? Can you knock 2 times? I only hear 1 knock. Can you consistently knock 2 times? What is your name?
Some paranormal investigators refer to this kind of interaction as partial compliance, the idea that an entity may attempt communication but cannot always respond exactly as requested. Rather than delivering perfect answers on command, it responds within whatever limitations it has. To many researchers, that can actually feel more compelling than flawless responses because it appears less rehearsed and more authentic. Others believe that's exactly what makes the situation dangerous. In many older traditions, repeated knocking from unseen sources was considered an invitation to engage. The belief was that the more attention a presence received, the stronger its manifestations became. Communication wasn't viewed as harmless curiosity, it was viewed as opening a door, and that's the thought some viewers couldn't shake after watching. The following video was recorded by a woman who was home alone one night. No family, no roommates, just her and the sound she kept hearing from the kitchen. She'd been trying to capture it for a while, she says, because whatever was moving around in there had started well before she ever turned a camera on. You can hear the nervousness in her voice as she stands at the bedroom doorway, phone shaking in her hand, asking into the dark hallway, "Who's there?" and getting nothing back. Watch.
¿Quién anda ahí? Me quedé sola en la casa y se escucha como si estuvieran moviendo las sillas, de que es como si lo estuvieran, pero ya no alcancé a grabar eso. ¿Quién anda ahí? ¿Quién eres? ¿Qué es lo que quieres?
The first sound hits before anything even appears on screen. A loud, aggressive scrape of furniture across tile that sends her scrambling behind the doorframe. She whispers back at it, "Don't cross the line," like she's negotiating with whatever it is, which honestly says something about how real this felt to her in the moment. When she finally works up the nerve to walk back down the hallway, a wooden dining chair slides violently across the kitchen floor on its own, slamming to a stop in the middle of the entryway. Some viewers pointed out how fast the movement was. Not a slow drift you chalk up to an uneven floor, but a forceful, directed shove. Others think the whole clip could be pulled off with a hidden string, though the aggressive speed of it makes that harder to dismiss quickly. She wasn't the only one in the house that night in a metaphorical sense, it seems. The second clip comes from another woman, also alone, also at night, when something caught her eye in the mirror above her dresser. Watch.
no voy a dormir aquí hoy, voy a dormir en el cuarto de mis papás. Pero tengo muchísimo miedo. ¿Ustedes creen que sea conveniente dormir con la Biblia en mi buró? Porque está en la sala, a la entrada. ¿Será conveniente dormir con la Biblia en el buró o no? ¿Vieron lo que pasó días anteriores? Que tocaron y dijeron, ma, soy yo, ábreme. Y yo estaba con mi mamá dentro de la cocina. Mi mamá no tiene más hijas. Antes de eso tocaron la ventana aquí bien fuerte 3 veces. 3 veces, bien fuerte. No, ya no sé qué hacer. Se me hace que no lo voy a hablar a un sacerdote, porque ya lo hice una vez y no funcionó. Pero a lo mejor alguien más preparado para estas situaciones. ¿Cómo se llaman esas personas que manejan ese tipo de cosas? No sé, tengo que buscar ahorita como quiera, pero yo no duermo aquí. Yo ya me voy.
A small object visible only in the reflection, something she describes as bird-like, a plush figure, makes a sudden downward twitch with no clear cause, and then when she goes to check the bed where it should be sitting, there's nothing there. The slow motion replay she includes makes the movement undeniable, but the missing object is the part that really unsettled her and her viewers. Some people in the comments pointed to mirror lore, which turns up across a lot of traditions. Mirrors as thresholds, as surfaces that show things the naked eye misses, sometimes things that exist just slightly out of step with our own space. Others weren't willing to go that far, suggesting the object may have simply fallen out of frame. But the physical absence is harder to explain away. And then there's a third clip, from another woman at home at night who noticed her closet door moving. Watch closely.
Se escuchan susurros que vienen de aquí del closet. Escuchaban susurros en la puerta. No te pases, ya no se está moviendo. Pero se movió al principio. No te pases. Güey. No son de las que se desplazan solas. No tienen ese problema. No sé. No mames, güey. Güey, huele horrible. Los susurros que creo que no alcancé a grabar en ninguna parte del video, o corríjanme si sale en alguna parte, yo todavía no lo escucho, pero se escuchan como, eran como murmullos, como si alguien estuviera rezando en voz baja, pero muy bajito, tipo así, ¿no? Así fue como se escuchó y venía de ahí, provenía de ahí del closet. Entonces, ¿ustedes creen que sea la misma cosa o sea algo más?
A bifold door panel, detached from its track, leaning loosely against the door frame, swings smoothly and steadily shut all on its own over the course of roughly 45 seconds, with no one near it and no wind source visible. What makes it harder to explain is the detail she shows afterward. Because the panel is off its track, it has no mechanical reason to swing in a controlled arc like that. A detached door leaning against a wall should stay where it is, or fall. it shouldn't close itself. Many viewers found that the slow, deliberate movement was more unsettling than anything sudden would have been. It felt intentional, like something was pulling it shut rather than disturbing it by accident. 1 woman, 3 nights, 3 things moving in rooms that were supposed to be empty. So what exactly is moving them? The following video was recorded late at night, somewhere inside a home. A woman hears what sounds like her daughter calling out from the dark. A small voice, distressed, coming from somewhere it shouldn't be. She approaches a low rectangular opening at the base of the wall, the kind of gap that sits flush with the baseboard and leads somewhere you'd never want to go. The family dog is already there, rigid, barking at whatever the darkness is hiding. Watch.
Mom, please help me. Leah, how did you get down there? You were supposed to be. Oh my God.
The child's voice, calling out, "Mom, please help me," is chilling enough on its own, but what appears in that opening for barely a fraction of a second is something else entirely. A pale, elongated face with hollow black eyes and no visible features beyond a thin, horizontal slit where a mouth should be. It's there, and then it's gone. The dog doesn't move. Many who've seen this clip point out that whatever that face belongs to, it doesn't look like anything human. And it wasn't calling for help. You decide what was really down there. The following video was captured on a home baby monitor, and the backstory behind it is what makes it so hard to watch without feeling something. A 15-month-old girl is alone in her crib in the middle of the night, and by all appearances, she's content. Rolling around, giggling, kicking her legs, the way toddlers do when they've decided sleep isn't happening just yet. But her mother shared this footage with a detail that changes everything about how you watch it. In 2017, her 3-year-old daughter Jada passed away. This is her younger sister. Listen closely. Twice during that footage, once around 50 seconds, and again near the 2-minute mark, the baby says a name. It's muffled the first time, but the second time it's clear enough to stop you cold. Jida. She's 15 months old, playing alone in a dark room saying her dead sister's name. Some believe very young children exist in a kind of in-between state, not yet fully closed off from whatever's on the other side, still soft to presences that adults can no longer sense. Others think it's coincidence, the random babbling of a toddler landing on a sound that resembles a name. But then the clip ends the way it does. That sudden, piercing scream. Out of nowhere, no visible trigger, cutting off just as abruptly as it started. Whatever she was laughing with a moment before, something about it changed. And her mother has to live with not knowing what that was. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying watching this video. In the following clip, a man has been systematically documenting some of the strangest and most unsettling activity he's ever encountered. But before we get there, the first piece of footage wasn't captured by him at all. It came from a backyard security camera rolling silently at just after midnight. Watch. The infrared footage catches something hard to explain. A white ball that seems to materialize out of nowhere on the grass, rolling slightly before coming to rest, followed moments later by a single brilliant flash of light that floods the entire yard for a fraction of a second. And then, in the zoomed-in section, what appears to be a dark, humanoid figure moving between the sheds in the background, passing behind a post and disappearing. There's no audio, no wind, no person visible before or after. Some viewers think the flash and the figure are connected, that the light preceded something's arrival, almost like a signal. Others believe what the camera picked up was simply a person cutting through the yard and the ball was already there. But the figure's movement, the way it seems to drift rather than walk, has led a number of people to attach the term shadow person to it, a label used in paranormal communities to describe dark, human-shaped presences that appear on camera but don't behave like living people, moving without sound, without weight, and without any clear origin or destination. Now, shifting to the daytime, a man sitting on his covered porch, dressed casually, wearing blue gloves, just getting some air after cleaning the house, had already set up security cameras around the property. He wasn't expecting anything. Watch.
Something like that has never happened before. And the funny thing is that I was out here last night. I was on a Discord call with a couple of my people, a couple of my followers, and I showed them the inside of the house from sitting out here. And it was so dark inside there because I didn't have any lights on or anything like that. And my heart is racing right now. Oh my God, I got chills. It's like 80 degrees and I have full body chills. It's way too early in the morning for this.
The porch camera captures a white door with a glass pane violently swinging open on its own before slamming shut, and the man is visibly startled, sitting up immediately and moving toward it to investigate. He comes back to the camera shaken, hand on his chest, talking about full body chills despite it being around 80 degrees outside. He says something like that has never happened before. The door showed no signs of a breeze or mechanical failure when he checked it. Skeptics will point to air pressure differentials or loose hinges, but the force of the swing, how hard it hit the wall, how decisively it shut, makes that harder to dismiss than it sounds. Now this next footage is where things get genuinely terrifying, and it all takes place inside what appears to be a hospital on the 4th floor, at night. The man returns to a housekeeping closet where he's had previous experiences. He's heard breathing here before, seen things he can't explain, and this time he sets his phone on the doorframe to record the dark room while he walks away. Watch.
Oh, the phone moved. And the door was locked. Back on. Sorry, it's hot in here. Just had to run across the 5th floor. I swear I just heard voices down there. I have chills. That sound like somebody breathing heavy. Now we out of here. We out.
No one was there, yet the phone moved like someone kicked it. And when he comes back to retrieve it, the door, which he left unlocked, is now locked from the inside, forcing him to use a key to get back in. He finds the phone on the floor. Then, as he walks down the hallway trying to compose himself, a deep, disembodied breath, close, unmistakable, like someone directly beside him, freezes him in place. He says, "That sound like somebody breathing heavy," and leaves immediately. 4 separate events, escalating in aggression. That pattern, from a single loud bang to a locked door to direct auditory contact, is what investigators sometimes call progressive phenomena, where a presence appears to test boundaries before making itself known more directly. It didn't stop there. On a separate visit, also at 3 a.m. on the 4th floor, he returns to the same housekeeping closet, turns off the light, and slides his phone under the door to record what's inside. Listen closely.
So, this is housekeeping, just your USSC. Oh, it's open. I thought it was locked. So they said what you do is turn off the light and then just wait. But I'm not about to stand in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the light and then slide my phone on the door so what happens. So here we go. Light off. And going under. Now tell me if y'all see or hear anything. I ain't going in there. Anything?
A deep, raspy, rhythmic breathing fills the recording from the dark gap under the door. Guttural, unnatural, consistent, while he stands just outside, apparently unaware it's even happening. On the 5th floor of the same building, he wanders into an empty hospital room, clearly uneasy, saying the floor makes him feel uncomfortable every time he's up there. He checks the room, checks the bathroom, and then moves back into the corridor, completely alone. And then this happened.
This floor makes me feel uneasy all the time. I never feel good up here. So you'll see, nobody's back there. It's just me. I could have sworn I heard something. I'm entirely sure. What the? Now, y'all heard that. I'm gonna show you. So, look. When you move the handle, that handle doesn't move. This handle, it locks. Okay? So, that is opening. That sound came from inside there, and I immediately opened the door. You need to use your key card in order to get in. Oh boy.
As he approaches a closed supply room door, the lever handle rattles violently for several seconds, loud and aggressive, as if something on the other side is trying to get out. He opens it with his keycard and the room is completely empty. He then takes the time to demonstrate the locking mechanism, showing that the interior handle doesn't operate the latch, that the exterior lever locks, and that you need a keycard to get back in. The sound came from inside a room that couldn't have been opened from the inside. No other explanation holds. For this last clip, he decides to go back into the housekeeping closet on the 4th floor one more time, this time stepping inside with the camera and staying in the room himself, something a viewer had asked him to do. He shows the small empty space, confirms he's alone, and then turns the light off. Listen closely.
Alright, so back up here on the 4th floor, yet again. Y'all did not like me leaving y'all in the thing yesterday, but today I am going to take the advice of one of viewers, and I'm going in there with y'all. See what happens. Here we go. All right, so I'm in the housekeeping closet. You can see it's just me. It's in here. Okay. Now somebody asked me to set this thing up on the desk. I can't do that because the logo for the company I work for is not supposed to be in the video. So this is the most you're gonna get. But I showed you the whole room. There are no cuts. Here we go. I'm shaking. Here we go. Okay. There's a door there. Nothing up there. You can see, well, you can't really see, but you get what I'm saying. I'm talking so that way you can hear that. What the hell?
In the total darkness, while he's still talking, two clear and distinct chiming sounds ring out. Melodic, high-pitched, like a small bell or a music box, with no visible source anywhere in the room. He turns the light back on immediately, wide-eyed and breathing hard. A bell-like sound appearing in a locked, empty room at night doesn't fit any obvious explanation. And for viewers familiar with accounts of intelligent haunting behavior, that kind of auditory detail, specific, musical, deliberate, is exactly the type of phenomenon that gets harder to wave away the more you think about it. This man keeps returning to this building, to this floor, to this same closet, and each time the activity seems to acknowledge him more directly. What exactly is in that room, and why does it seem to know when he's there? Like and subscribe if you're enjoying watching this video. He's been back multiple times now, and the pattern hasn't broken. It's only gotten closer. The following clip was captured by a woman named Madison, who felt the need to record what had been happening in her home after repeatedly telling her friends that something about her daughter's behavior didn't feel normal, only to be dismissed as overthinking or exaggerating. According to her, her daughter would mention seeing someone in the house, a man she described as her friend. At first, it sounded like the kind of imaginary companion children sometimes create, something harmless, something easy to ignore. But over time, the details became more specific. She would point to certain areas of the house, especially corners and spaces where no one was standing, and speak as if someone was actually there, responding, listening, present. And that's when it stopped feeling like imagination. One night, as they were getting ready to sleep, her daughter brought up a conversation. Watch.
Yeah, but what?
We hear something.
You can hear something?
Yeah.
What?
What is that?
Can you see something?
What is that?
I don't know. What is it? Huh?
Where? Where is it gone?
What?
Where is it gone?
What's gone?
Over there.
Huh?
Over there.
Over where?
There.
What do you mean?
In the paper there.
What is it?
Oh no.
What is it, Billy?
What's that?
I don't know. What can you see?
Black.
Oh,
It's black.
he's black.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does he talk to you?
He's coming.
He's coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jesus coming.
Huh?
Bird's coming.
Yeah.
A baby's coming.
A baby's coming.
Yeah.
Oh.
What stood out to many viewers wasn't just the moment itself, but the mother's reaction. When her daughter pointed something out, she didn't laugh it off or dismiss it. She listened, she responded seriously, as if she understood that whatever her child was experiencing felt real to her. So was this simply a child's imagination taking shape in a quiet moment? Or was it a glimpse of something that chose to reveal itself only to the one person who wouldn't question it? You decide. In this next video, a woman named Laura had just finished baking cookies and was about to enjoy them. A completely normal moment in a calm, everyday setting, with nothing unusual happening and no reason to expect that anything strange was about to unfold. She's casually talking, relaxed, unaware that something is about to happen right in front of her. Watch.
This was completely whole. Completely whole. I'm just sitting here like la 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 la. I hear I look over. That. It's...
If you pay close attention, one of the cookies suddenly breaks. Not slowly, not from being touched, but abruptly, as if something applied pressure to it from nowhere, right in front of her eyes, at the exact moment she's questioning how it could have happened. That's what makes this moment difficult to dismiss, even for critics, because the timing feels too precise, almost reactive, like whatever caused it responded to her attention, turning a simple question into something much more unsettling. So the question remains, was this simply an odd but explainable occurrence, or a moment where something else was at play, just out of sight? You be the judge. Now, this next clip touches on something a lot of people have pointed out over the years. The idea that houses with paranormal activity often seem to experience even more intense disturbances during renovations or remodeling, almost as if the process of changing the structure somehow stirs whatever might already be there. In this case, a Ring camera installed inside a home that was undergoing remodeling captured something unsettling. Watch. A faint but clearly audible voice is picked up on the recording, something that doesn't belong to anyone present. Moments like this tend to stand out even more because of the setting, a house mid-renovation, walls being opened, spaces being altered, the structure itself being disturbed. Some believe that when a home is remodeled, especially older ones, it can disrupt whatever energy or presence might have settled there over time, almost like uncovering or awakening something that had remained dormant. Others suggest that the noise, movement, and physical changes create conditions where activity becomes more noticeable, either by coincidence or by triggering reactions from whatever may be present. There's also the idea that remodeling removes boundaries, exposing areas that haven't been touched in years, which, for those who believe in it, could mean uncovering more than just old materials. For now, this incident remains without a clear answer. This next video was captured by a family's security camera, and when it was posted, it immediately divided opinion, because while the woman who shared it tried to rationalize what happened, many viewers weren't convinced it was that simple. Here's how she explains it. She's asleep when she suddenly hears her toddler crying out for juice, something that would normally be easy to respond to without much concern, but as she opens her eyes, she feels like she sees something in the room. Something unclear, something she can't fully process in that half-awake state, which prompts her to get up and check. Watch.
Oh shit! Oh my god, everybody's fucking screaming!
According to her, she believes she might have imagined it, possibly because she was still waking up, not fully aware of her surroundings. But the part that stood out to many people wasn't just what she thought she saw, it was the way her child was crying. It didn't sound like a normal request, it felt like the child was responding to something, not just asking for something. And then there's the timing, because this all happens around 3 a.m., a detail that, whether coincidence or not, tends to make moments like this feel even more unsettling, especially for those who associate that hour with heightened paranormal activity. Some viewers began to question whether what she thought she saw and what her child was reacting to might have been connected, suggesting that children often respond more directly to things adults struggle to perceive, especially in environments where something may already be present. And that's when she decided to share something else. 3 months earlier, the Ring camera had captured something she hadn't paid much attention to at the time, but after reading through the comments and questions asking if anything unusual had ever happened before, she went back and found this. Watch. If you listen closely, a voice can be heard saying, "I always have." The moment becomes even more unsettling when you consider what she had said just before that, asking her dad if he was still there with her, a question that in itself carries emotion, memory, and meaning, which makes the response feel less random and more connected, as though something was listening and chose to answer. Now, whether these moments are related or not, whether that was her dad who responded or something else pretending to be her dad, and finally showed its true color that night her child was crying, until more is understood or additional evidence comes forward, what was captured in that home remains unresolved. The following video is about a mother and her young daughter whose behavior has slowly become more concerning over time, not because of anything loud or aggressive, but because of how consistent it is. Her daughter keeps waving at empty corners, smiling at spaces where no one is standing, and at times pointing toward different areas of the house as if someone is guiding her attention, like she's being shown things no one else can see. At first, it felt harmless, the kind of thing many parents might brush off as imagination, but as it continued, it became harder to ignore, especially because the child doesn't act confused or scared. She acts familiar, like she recognizes whoever or whatever she's interacting with. One night, as they're about to sleep, the mother decides to record, not because she's certain something is wrong, but because she needs reassurance that it's nothing beyond what it appears to be. Watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
И мы вдвоем дома, да? И мы вдвоем дома, зайка. Только ты и я.
Я.
С кем ты говоришь?
Капу.
С кем ты разговариваешь?
Пая.
Ну там никого нет, только ты и я дома. Никого нету. Только ты и я. С кем ты говоришь?
Я.
Со мной?
Да.
Точно со мной?
Папа.
А кому ты махала? Кому ты махала, зайка? Кому ты говорила привет-привет?
Папа.
Кому?
Папа.
Это кто?
Мам.
Moments like this tend to spark a lot of discussion, and one thing often said is that as long as the child isn't afraid, it might not be something to worry about. But that idea raises a deeper question, because should calm behavior really be taken as a sign that everything is fine, or could it mean that whatever's being seen hasn't revealed its full nature yet? Because what starts as something quiet, something almost friendly, doesn't always stay that way. Now she's reaching out to other parents who may have experienced something similar, trying to understand how they handled it, how they kept their children safe, and what steps they took to make sure things didn't escalate into something more serious. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. In this next clip, a group of paranormal investigators decide to explore an abandoned building, one that has reportedly been left untouched for years, with no electricity, no maintenance, and no clear reason for anyone to be inside. Places like this already carry a certain weight. The silence, the decay, the feeling that you're stepping into a space that hasn't fully let go of its past. According to the team, the building had a reputation among locals with stories of unexplained noises, doors shutting on their own, and the constant feeling that you're not entirely alone, even when there's no one else around. Still, they proceed with their investigation, moving carefully through the structure, documenting everything. At one point, they come across a closed door. Nothing unusual at first. But then, they decide to try something. Watch.
That door just moved on its own. No joke, that door just moved on its own. Holy shit. Guys, tell me that you all saw that. Watch. Nowhere near this thing. Watch this thing. There's a spirit here. Open that door. Use all your energy. No way. Holy shit. Oh my gosh. That is nuts.
Yeah, this door over here is opening. It's opening and closing it by itself. No joke. Holy shit! There's no way in hell that I'm getting this on camera right now. Like usually, like you gotta really call to get attention. I mean, you really got, holy shit, guys, I'm baffled right now. That window is completely closed, by the way. These blinds are not moving or anything. That door is completely closed. See, it's even screwed shut. How is this even happening? I don't even understand this. There's a spirit here with me. Close that door. Use all. Oh my gosh, guys. Look, I am baffled right now. Like, oh my gosh. And there's like this carpet piece on the bottom of the door.
Now, a door opening or closing on its own can sometimes be explained: airflow, pressure changes, structural imbalance, especially in an old abandoned building. But that explanation starts to fall apart when the timing doesn't feel random, when the movement happens in direct response to a question. Because that's exactly what makes this moment stand out. It's not just that the door moves, it's that it moves when prompted. No windows are open, no visible force is acting on it, and yet it reacts. Now, if it isn't a coincidence, then what exactly is behind that door?